Okay, we're starting with the legislature in Pakistan. What's the composition and organization, and what's the legislative procedure? The constitutional status and role. The National Assembly is the country's sovereign legislative body. It embodies the will of the people to let themselves be governed under the democratic multi-party federal parliamentary system. Through its debates, adjournment motions, question hour, and standing committees, the National Assembly keeps a check over the executive and ensures that the government functions within the parameters set out in the Constitution and does not violate the fundamental rights of the citizens. Only the National Assembly, through its Public Accounts Committee, secretar- scrutinizes public spending and exercises control of expenditure incurred by the government. So there is a multi-party system in Pakistan, there is a federal parliamentary system, and there is a democracy. So in parliament, we see there are debates, there are adjournment motions, there is a question hour because in the executive are part of the legislature in the parliamentary system. So the National Assembly, it keeps a check over the executive because the executive or the chief executive is part of the National Assembly, the lower chamber, and it ensures that the government works within the parameters which are set out in the Constitution. The structure and the composition, the senators and the members. So Pakistan's federal legislative branch consists of the President, the National Assembly as the lower house, and the Senate as the upper house. The National Assembly and Senate constitute Pakistan's bicameral parliament. Pakistan's federal legislative branch, because there are provinces and they got the authority to legislate as well. And it consists of the National Assembly, the Senate, the upper house, and it is the bicameral legislature. The tenure of a member of a National Assembly is for the duration of the House, which is 5 years, as mentioned in the Article 52, or sooner in case the member dies or resigns, or if the Assembly is dissolved. So there are only 3 ways by which, the term which is mentioned 5 years, the election can be held on that particular seat if a member dies or he resigns or if the assembly is dissolved. A political party or a coalition is required to receive 172 seats, a simple majority, to have a majority in the National Assembly in order to form a government. If there is no party that has a majority, the political party with a plurality of seats is invited to form a government through coalition partners. So we see that currently the PTI government is a coalition government with the MQM and the Ahmad AAP, BAP, Balochistan Awami Party, and Pakistan Muslim League Q. So a coalition government is working in Pakistan. So the Prime Minister, the current government needs a constant support of 172 members of the lower house. If they want to get the majority, if they want to stay in the power or in the government. So if they loses the majority, like they don't have the support of 172 members, so definitely they will lose the majority and they will lose the government as well. The Senate, the upper house. The Senate of Pakistan grants equal representation to all federating units. Equal representation, like there are 4 provinces, so each federating unit will represent equally in the upper house, which is in line with the constitutional role attributed to the upper house. Promotion of national cohesion and harmony, that is the basic role of the upper house, that they will create a national cohesion and harmony among the federating units. Main purpose for the creation of the Senate of Pakistan was to give equal representation to all the federating units, since the membership of the National Assembly was based on the population of each province. So if one province is having a very small number of population, so definitely its representation in the National Assembly will be lesser than other provinces with large population. So equal provincial membership in the Senate thus balances the provincial inequality in the National Assembly and dispels doubts and apprehensions, if any, regarding deprivation and exploitation. And the basic role, what is being attributed to the upper house, that is promotion of national cohesion and harmony. So if there is any um, deprivation, there is any exploitation on the ground of National Assembly, so there is a chance that it must be addressed on the floor of the upper house. The Senate of Pakistan, it consists of 104 members elected indirectly by the members of the National Assembly and the members of the provincial assemblies. Each of the 4 provincial assemblies elects 23 members from their respective provinces, including 14 senators to general seats, 4 women, 4 technical experts, including ulama, the religious scholars, and 1 non-Muslim. The members of the National Assembly from FATAs elect 8 senators to represent the FATAs, that FATA that is now part of KPK. What's the legislative procedure? How lawmaking process is being done in Pakistan? How laws are formulated? So in order for a bill to become law in Pakistan, it undergoes a legislative procedure in each house of the parliament. And this procedure is regulated by Pakistan's constitution and the rules of procedure of the relevant house, and involves 12 or 13 steps. Unless both houses pass a bill and it receives the president assent, it cannot become a law with the exception of a money bill, which is the sole prerogative of the National Assembly. The steps to passage involve introduction of the bill, a first reading, the select committee stage, a second reading, a third reading, and presidential assent. So there is a very lengthy procedure which is adopted by the parliament, and majority of the bills, they are initiated on the lower house, and it undergoes into a legislative procedure, and it involves 12 or 13 steps. Article 70, it says that the Constitution provides the following rules on the introduction and passage of bills. GT. So if you have any question.